Hi there, Lisa Olivier with Burlesque Palace. Today I'm going to talk about the magic of New Orleans. When I first start writing something, it's usually the title that comes to me, and that's exactly what happened with Burlesque Palace. Next it was the location, and since I knew very little about New Orleans, I decided to go down on a research trip. What I discovered was that half a block away from where I was staying, there used to be a theater called Burlesque Palace. I knew from that moment I was on the right track. The magic continued. I had already written the first draft of the pilot, and in it there was a character named Ryder. He was an oversexed, chronic pothead, with eyes bluer than a one-eyed carpenter's thumb. And then I met him, the real-life Ryder. The real-life Ryder's name was Skateboard. That's right, Skateboard and Ryder. True story. Yet I was having a hard time deciphering between what was true and what was story. The city that I come from is so opposite from New Orleans. I come from Vancouver, Canada, with its tall granite mountains and cold, clear water. New Orleans is pretty flat. It's built on silt and clay with a lazy old murky river floating by. Where I come from, things shut down early on school nights. But on my first trip to New Orleans, I arrived late and I was hungry. So I asked, is there anywhere that's still open? They looked at me, everywhere is still open. And then there's the food. The food in New Orleans is amazing, but I had a hard time finding a vegetable that hadn't been battered and deep fried. And then when I went for a run to try to run off some of that food, people looked at me like, what's she running from? The music. The buskers or street performers in New Orleans are better than most of the concerts I go to at home. One of the funniest things I saw on my second trip to New Orleans was a schedule conflict between a Mardi Gras parade and the Super Bowl. Who could decide? So people brought their flatbed trucks and their big screen TVs, and no one had to choose. Which leads me to my last point. The magic of New Orleans has nothing to do with Bourbon Street and beads and boob flashing. New Orleans has gone through so much change. From the French to the Spanish, back to the French to the Americans. From epidemics to fires to floods to hurricanes. From free people of color living alongside slavery to Jim Crow to desegregation. Yet the people of New Orleans managed to laisser les bons temps rouler, or let the good times roll. And that is the true magic of New Orleans. Tomorrow, we talk about burlesque. Bye for now.